What is going on, everyone? It is Kirk and I'm here again with another video, another week, a brand new week, and I'm here with another video for you guys. And today, from the title of the video, you can see that I'm going to do a player comparison. So we're going to be comparing two players from the Premier League, two African players, might I say. And those players are Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Sadio Mane. Now, as you guys already know, the Barclays Premier League season has kicked off. Much to the excitement of everybody, including myself. As you know, I'm an Arsenal fan, but I'm not going to be biased today. Do you know what I mean? I've never really been biased on this channel. But if a player is good and, a player is good, I will say that he's good. And if there's something that he does that is bad, I will say that is bad. But we're going to be comparing the two. And then at the end, I'm going to be giving my take on which player I'd rather have. If it's either Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang or Sadio Mane. So without much further ado, let's get straight into it. So in the last two games, we're going to start with Aubameyang. He's had a shot ratio of 3.5 shots per game. So that's 3.5 shots at goal. And he scored 2 in the last 2 games. As compared to Mane, who's only had 1 shot at goal and scored 1. In no way, shape or form am I now saying that that makes Aubameyang a better player. But, different circumstances happen in different games. And as I've already said, it's only just been 2 games. So I have no doubt that Mane is going to be having more shots on goal as the season progresses, and more goals are probably going to go in. Now, in terms of strengths with Aubameyang, his main strengths that I've put down, these are just from what I've seen from him anyway. But his main strengths that I've put down is finishing, holding the ball. He's particularly quite good at that. He's clinical. So that falls into finishing as well. He's fast. And as I've said, for me, I mean, whoever that I've had this debate with, I'd honestly say Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, in my book and in my, perception, I think he is one of the best strikers in the world. And I think Arsenal have one of the best strikers in the Premier League in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And the main reason for that is his finishing. He is so clinical. Like, if you listen to different players talk about their experiences with playing Aubameyang, even David Luiz, who's just joined Arsenal, mentioned in his interview one time that he's glad that Aubameyang is now on his team so he doesn't have to face him. He's honestly one of the most difficult people to face because of how quick he is and how clinical he can be. If you give Aubameyang a chance, the likelihood is maybe 8 times out of 10 he will punish you. And he's shown that time and time again. But I say 8 times out of 10 because of some of his weaknesses, which we're going to be talking about later on. His playing style in general as well. He likes to play the ball on the ground often. He's not really a player that likes the ball, to be wafted into him. Doesn't really want to, be fighting for it in the air. But if the ball's at his feet and he can run at players and he can run at defenders, and one of the hardest things to do is stop Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang when he's running straight at you. When he is running straight at you with the ball, he's traveling with such pace, and his feet is so quick that you honestly do not want him to be one-on-one with you in that kind of situation, because the likelihood is he will blow past you. If not with pace, then he can shift and change his body and just open up space for himself, so he can even maybe take a shot. And even if you go back and look at the goal he scored against Burnley just weekend gone, it was exactly that. He came in off the left-hand side, which is another thing that he does. He does like to cut in a lot. That's actually one of his playing styles as well. He cuts in from the wings a lot. So what he did was he got the ball after Ceballos, made a tackle. He got the ball on the left-hand side. He literally cut in and took the defender by such surprise. I'm guessing because of how quickly his body changed and shifted position. And he opened up the space for himself for him to finish it near post at the goalkeeper. So it was, he's brilliant at that. And that is what he does. Now we move on to his weaknesses. I'll be honest in saying that finding Aubameyang's weaknesses for me wasn't that difficult, if I'm completely honest with you. And I'm sure quite a few Arsenal fans will agree, and maybe football fans in general will agree with me when I say that one of his main weaknesses is the fact that Aubameyang can miss some sitters. You only have to look at last season to see that. He only got, I'm not going to say only, because 23 Premier League goals is pretty decent, but with the amount of sitters he missed against so many teams last season, he easily could have been hitting 30. He easily could have been hitting 30 goals. Easily. For me, he easily could have been hitting 30 goals if he actually scored some of the chances that were actually presented to him last season. He had a little dry spell as well where things weren't quite working out. I mean, the fact that he still managed to get golden boot even with that spell says a lot about the player. But also, the one thing that does frustrate fans actually a lot, and one thing that does hurt Aubameyang's game is the fact that he can miss some sitters. He can be presented with chances where you would think to yourself, come on, he's definitely going to put this in, and then it doesn't actually go according to plan. And that's the reason why I mentioned the 8 out of 10 thing before, because there is this kind of area in his game where he can miss some sitters. Another weakness of his is the fact that, I mean, it doesn't happen too often, but I mean, it happens to an extent where it is noticeable. I can honestly say that I think that Aubameyang sometimes goes missing in matches as well sometimes. And I say that because it just seems like when he's playing on the right-hand side, or sometimes when he's playing in the middle, if he's not playing with certain players, sometimes he can't come into the game. At times he's just kind of making aimless runs. They're not finding him, or he's just like, he's finding it hard to find certain spaces. And that can lead him to go missing. Because if you have a player like Aubameyang, you want him to be in those areas where you can give him the ball and he can deliver something. And if he goes missing in matches, that's one of your main players, or as I said, one of the best strikers in the league, that you're not finding. And if you're not finding him, it means that you're going to find it very hard to find goals, because he's the man that they're going to be looking for 4 goals. He's the man that they're going to be looking for those special moments. And if you're going missing in games, then you're hindering your team and you're hurting your team pretty badly. Now let's move on to Sadio Mane. Let's talk a little bit about Sadio Mane and what we've seen in the last 2 games that he's played. So similar to what we said with Aubameyang in the last 2 games, which I've mentioned before, Sadio Mane scored 1 goal. He's had 1 shot at goal and he scored. But we're not really gonna, use those stats, because obviously there is only 2 games. We need a longer stretch of games to decide between the 2, but we're not going to use those stats to decide anything right now. And Mane's strengths in terms of his what he can do with the ball is his finishing, as well as Aubameyang. His finishing is pretty good. As I said, all you have to do is just look at last season, all of them getting 23 goals. Holding up the ball, he can do pretty well as well. One thing that I love about Mane, fast dribbling. Sometimes when a player has the ball and they dribble, they can slow a game down. They can, pick up the ball in an area where your team is breaking, but because they're trying to do all of these tricks and stuff, it allows their defense to come back. Sadio Mane is so direct, and I love that about his game. I love that about the way he plays. If the team is breaking and you've given Mane the ball, he is so direct. He's not going to dilly-dally about with all of these tricks and flicks and trying to, beat a defender and all that kind of stuff. He knows what he's good at. He knows he's got the pace, and he will use that pace to hurt defenders. And I honestly, when I watch Sadio Mane play, that's one of the things I love about his game. Just how direct he is and how he's just... It's almost as if when he gets the ball, he's got one focus on his mind, and he's just like literally just charging towards the goal. That's all that's on his mind. He just needs to get as close to the goal as possible. Another thing I love about his game as well, which is important for me, for any forward, is Sadio Mane's ability to be so unpredictable. He can come out with just, anything at any point. All you have to do is look at last year. His backheel goal that he scored. I believe it was Everton. I'm not too sure, but I think it was against Everton. And he got the ball, and at a point it looked like the chance had gone and his back was facing the goal, and all he did was just backheel it. And not only backheel it, he actually backheeled it to the point where it actually slightly dinked over the goalkeeper. Call it luck, call it whatever you want, but it's unpredictable. It's just, improvised play. And as a forward, you need that, because you're going to be in so many different sort of situations where you're going to need to get yourself out. And that's exactly what Sadio Mane does, and that's exactly what he can do. All you have to all you have to do is just go back to the first game they played against Norwich, where the ball was wafted in from the right-hand side, and he literally out of nowhere just did an overhead kick, and he got really good contact on it as well. So I love that about Sadio Mane, just his ability to just be so direct, firstly, and secondly, just how unpredictable he is. His playing style, again, does resemble Aubameyang a little bit in terms of the fact that he doesn't really like the ball in the air. He gets in behind. That's another thing that he can do very well with his runs. Because of how direct he is and because of how focused he is on getting as close to the goal as possible, he does look for those runs in behind where he can latch onto a pass or something to get in on goal, and he likes to cut inside as well. One of the things that I love about Sadio Mane, and one of the things I've always said that Mane is so good at, is cutting inside and bending it far post. I've seen him do it. I saw him do it quite a number of times at Southampton. I've seen him do it quite a number of times for Liverpool as well. When he gets the ball on that left-hand side, he will cut inside. And when he cuts inside, if he bends it, your goalkeeper's in trouble. And again, I love that about him. Two main weaknesses that I would say is, firstly, his aerial game isn't the best. Aerial duels, he's not the best, which is understandable, because sometimes when you have a pacey player, they've got, you know, they've got areas that sort of like when it comes to fighting in the air and all that kind of stuff, because their playing style is more catered towards the pace that they've got, they're not going to be as good at jumping or winning aerial duels. So it's understandable. I mean, he does his best, but it's not his best area. And another weakness in Mane's game is his defensive work rate. For me, I don't think he works hard enough getting back and tracking back to defend. He is a forward at the end of the day, it's true, but because he plays on the wing mainly, when you have a wing player, you do want that kind of player where you're gonna, you know, be effective going forward, but eventually as well want to track back and help and defend and, you know, win the ball unexpectedly from the opposition, thinking that they're about to get a chance. And I honestly don't think that he gets himself back enough. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comment section if you think differently, but that's honestly what I think. I don't think Sadio Mane is too defensive, but the attacking stuff, he does really well. So now we've compared the stats, we've compared the way they play and all that kind of stuff. Now let's look at the player that I'd say that I'd want in my team. If I'm honest, the player that I'd say I'd want in my team, I'd go for AUBAMEYAng. And I am not saying this by any stretch of the imagination because I'm an Arsenal fan or anything like that. And I will give my reasons why I say AUBAMEYAng in a second. But having said that, there are aspects of Mane's game that I would love, and I'm sure Liverpool love as well, but I'll give you the reason as to why I say AUBAMEYAng. The main reason why I say AUBAMEYAng is, one, because of how clinical he is. It's so hard to find a player that can just grant you a magic moment at any point, and a player that you can also rely on as well to score goals. A player that's an out-and-out goal scorer, and when you see them, you just know that they've got that goal-scoring instinct in them. And I think that's what you get with AUBAMEYAng. AUBAMEYAng's the kind of striker that you just know, whenever you see AUBAMEYAng, you see goals. And he's just got that in him. He's got that goal-scoring instinct in him. And I think as a striker and as a forward, that's exactly what you want. Someone who can score goals, because essentially that's why your forwards are there. Really, that's why you have forwards, to score goals. Even though I've said that I would take AUBAMEYAng in my team, there are still aspects of Mane's game that I love, and I'll tell you what it is. And not just aspects as well, there are some certain things as well to consider when it comes to the two. The first thing I'll say, which is it's a minor, but at the same time it can also have an impact, is the fact that Mane's got years on AUBAMEYAng. Mane is only 27 years of age as compared to AUBAMEYAng's 30. So Mane is more or less reaching his peak level, and he's got probably 3 or 4 more years of his peak level to, you know, use up. AUBAMEYAng realistically maybe has 1 or 2 more years. So being 27 with where Mane is right now, and at the moment he's entering his peak, he's got years in AUBAMEYAng. And he's got years to improve and become a much, much better player. So that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. And honestly, I would love, love, love to hear what you guys think. Tell me the player that you would rather have in your team, AUBAMEYAng or Mane. In the comment section below, let us know who you would like in your team and why you would like them in your team. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, official reveal. Just head over there and give us a follow on Instagram. All the information will be down in the description below. But don't forget to like, comment and subscribe on this video as well. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.